Nymue is a fight that has undergone a lot of iteration over the course of the raid testings it was available. It is a two-stage fight that repeats. It is a high movement, primarily single target fight that has potential for split cleave. The first thing you'll notice is Nymue's room is different from most bosses. There are grooved patterns carved into the floor. You'll also notice that some of these lines are active. Crossing these lines will trigger a stacking dot called Verdant Matrix. More lines will become active during the fight each time you complete Phase 2 and Nymue casts Continuum. Nymue will periodically cause surging growths to appear. These are similar to the Noxious Blossoms from Console of Dreams. They will deal a stacking amount of damage to the whole raid every 2 seconds for 1 minute. If you soak these pools, it will shrink them and reduce their duration. In between spamming casts of Threaded Blasts at a current threat target, Nymue will periodically debuff the tank and a few other players with Weaver's Burden. After 8 seconds, these players will detonate on all players within 12 yards, applying a dot, gaining inflorescence, and creating a barrier blossom where they were standing. You want to move towards the edge of the room if you get targeted by this, as the barrier blossom will knock players back, and if you place them poorly, they could prevent people from soaking surging growths. In addition, this debuff is a private aura, so you will be unable to track the duration left on it. Viridian Rain will cause Nymue to deal even more raid damage for 6 seconds. This can be dangerous in conjunction with a lot of active surging growths. Lastly, Nymue will cast Impending Loom. This will create 2 lines of orbs in front of the boss. Then, orbs will begin to fall from the sky next to each other, indicating where a line will be created. These lines will travel outwards slowly, expanding as they do so. If you get hit by these hard to see green lines, it will stun you and apply a Giga Dot for 3 seconds. When the boss reaches full energy, she will cast Full Bloom, dealing a large amount of damage to players within 16 yards and granting them inflorescence. She will also spawn 2 Cycle Wardens on opposite ends of the room, signaling the beginning of Phase 2. The raid wants to split up into 2 groups following the tanks, who ideally stayed back to get inflorescence. While the Cycle Wardens live, they will grant Nymue Life Ward, which reduces her damage taken by 99%. Nymue will also apply a stacking dot called Unravel during this phase, encouraging you to exit the phase ASAP. The Cycle Wardens have a few abilities to watch out for, the first of which is Lumbering Slam. They will face the direction of a random player and begin a slow frontal cone cast, which deals Giga Nature damage. When the cast completes, it will spawn surging growths near players that you will need to soak. They will also shoot out patterns of swirlies you need to dodge called Radial Flourish. Lastly, if the Cycle Wardens ever cross a Verdant Matrix on the ground, they will wipe the raid with Verdant Rend. Once both Cycle Wardens are killed, Nymue will cast Continuum, as mentioned earlier, which will add more Verdant Matrixes. It will also clear any existing Barrier Blossoms and Surging Growths that were spawned in the previous Phase 1. I want to note that any Surging Growths spawned by Cycle Wardens will not be despawned by this. That sums up the fight on Heroic. On Mythic, there are a few changes. The boss will periodically spawn Ephemeral Flora. This is an important raid soak that, in PTR testing, always spawned in melee. You have 10 seconds to soak this before it explodes and applies a raid wiping dot. Whenever you soak this, or any surging growths, Reclamation will occur. This will spawn a large green swirly that after 3 seconds will explode and deal a large amount of damage to anyone still standing in it. In P2, you will need to kill Cycle Wardens at the same time, or they will trigger Verdant Rend. And finally, a new ad will spawn in P2 called the Manifested Dream. This ad will always spawn towards the entrance of the room, and you need to be within 30 yards to have line of sight on it due to Lucid Miasma. You have 30 seconds to kill the Manifested Dream before it hits full energy and starts its Waking Decimation cast and wipes the raid. In addition, while killing it, you will need to dodge Dream Exhaust, which are poorly telegraphed cones of damage. Lucid Miasma will also apply Lucid Vulnerability once the Manifested Dream is killed, which increases the damage you take from Lucid Miasma by 1000% for 12 minutes. This will require you to have multiple groups of players to kill this ad. The TLDR of this fight is as follows. In P1, soak Surging Growth, dodge Impending Loom, move out with Weaver's Burden. In P2, split the raid up and kill Cycle Wardens evenly, dodge Lumbering Slam and Radial Flourish, soak any Surging Growths, don't move the Cycle Wardens over Verdant Matrixes. And in Mythic, soak Ephemeral Flora, move out of Reclamation, have groups assigned to kill Manifest a Dream, and kill the Cycle Wardens at the same time. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to learn how to defeat the next boss, Smolderon, make sure to tune into the next video.